These chicks are animals, literally. You guys are sickos. You see this comment, hugely disappointed and lost all respect for both Sue Bird and Tina Charles.
It's Tina Charles talking about the entire situation for the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark.
WNBA legends Sue Bird and Tina Charles just lit a firestorm on July 12, 2025, and fans are not having it. After openly mocking what many believe was a cheap shot against Caitlin Clark on their podcast, the backlash has been instant and brutal. Social media is calling it a straight-up betrayal, and now fans are saying they just canceled themselves.
I'm really disappointed in Sue Bird. She's been largely positive when it's come to things involving Caitlin Clark.
On July 12, 2025, Sue Bird and Tina Charles sat on that podcast and turned what fans are calling a straight-up cheap shot into a joke. Tina, right in the middle of the conversation, brushed off the whole thing. And Sue? She didn't stop her. She didn't check her. She laughed with her. That moment right there broke a lot of people's trust.
You want to talk about nuclear backlash against these two. Now she's the managing director for the USA women's national team. In other words, the Olympics.
These aren't just former players having a chat. Sue Bird is now the managing director of Team USA's women's basketball program. The person who has direct influence over Olympic rosters. That's not some side gig. That's power. And now fans are asking, how can you lead with integrity when you're mocking the abuse of the league's biggest rising star?
He said the refs aren't doing their jobs. They're not regulating the sport. You know this is a major, major topic.
Because let's be clear, this wasn't just physical play. This was an uncalled foul that looked a lot like violence. Go back and watch the Connecticut Sun game. It's all there. Caitlin Clark was pushed, then hit in the back with a closed fist. Multiple angles now show it, clear as day, and in some shots you can even see a hand grabbing a chunk of her hair. That's not basketball. That's not toughness, that's not competitiveness, that's assault.
Like, Tina Charles did not punch Caitlin Clark in the back. Watch it in real time.
But when that footage started circulating, instead of accountability, we got laughter. Instead of clarity, we got deflection. Tina Charles even tried the "it wasn't me" line in the middle of all the chaos. And they both leaned into this weird street tough persona like it was something to brag about. One of them literally said people were joking that Tina took her back to Southside Jamaica. Like, that's funny. Like, beating up the most watched player in women's basketball is just a vibe?
Caitlin Clark's shooting slump began right after this game. Injury that never fully recovered, ? Punch, getting decked.
Caitlin Clark hasn't said much publicly. She doesn't need to. Her game usually does the talking. But something changed after that matchup. Her shooting numbers dipped. Her minutes were limited. She didn't look right. Some called it a slump. Others now call it the aftermath of an injury that no one in the league wants to acknowledge. And suddenly it makes sense because that punch, that shove, that moment, it wasn't just a minor scuffle. It could have been the hit that sidelined her for weeks, and nobody's being held accountable.
And I'm sure she is laughing it off. I would say because she doesn't want to retort from the WNBA.
And where's Kathy Engelbert in all this? The WNBA commissioner hasn't done a thing. Not a fine, not a flagrant, not even a statement. And let's not forget Adam Silver, who oversees the league in broader terms, sitting silently on the NBA side of things. The fans see it, they feel it. This isn't leadership, it's cowardice, and more people are saying it out loud.
Gotta be rough watching this.
What's worse is how intentional the silence feels. That podcast skipped over everything real. No mention of the footage, no acknowledgement of the backlash. They laughed, moved on, and left Caitlin Clark to deal with the consequences. And now the fans are livid. They're calling this what it is, a cover-up, an inside job. The old guard of the WNBA circling the wagons to protect their own while vilifying the one player bringing in record ratings, packed arenas, and new fans. It's gatekeeping, it's jealousy, and frankly, it's dangerous.
In my opinion, it looks like she punched Caitlin Clark in the back. That's my opinion. That's what I see.
Because Caitlin isn't just some random rookie. She's the biggest name to enter women's basketball in decades. She's driving attendance. She's selling out merch. And yet, instead of celebrating her, this league and its veterans have let her get physically beaten and publicly mocked without stepping in. Even fans who once loved Sue Bird are done. They feel betrayed. And as for Tina Charles, the footage alone is damning. The league wanted drama, but what they got was backlash. And the fuse that lit this explosion? It was their own arrogance caught on a mic laughing about something that fans believe should have never happened in the first place.
There wouldn't be any talk about this being a funny situation and Marina gonna Marina. Like, no one's gonna say Alyssa's gonna Alyssa when she's arguably the dirtiest player in the league.
Right after that game, the one where Caitlin Clark got shoved, hit in the back, maybe even yanked by the hair, things just weren't the same. Go ahead and pull up the stats if you want. Caitlin's shooting percentage took a nosedive. The girl who was dropping 25-footers like she was on a Nerf hoop in her driveway suddenly couldn't find the rim, and not just for a night. It lingered.
Versus Indiana Fever. I feel like it was like the perfect depiction of New York at the start.
Some called it a slump, others said she's just adjusting. But if you actually watched the game, if you saw what happened to her that night, you know better. It didn't look like adjustment. It looked like someone trying to play through pain. She looked off like she wasn't fully there. Limping some nights, holding her back, sitting out unexpectedly. Sound familiar?
Caitlin Clark really has not been right at all, particularly shooting and from an injury standpoint, ever since that Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles, we haven't put enough emphasis on her.
Because the timeline checks out perfectly. The moment that altercation happened, where Marina Mabrey got involved, where Tina Charles wasn't Mead her way through the chaos, Caitlin's body language changed. Her play shifted. Something clicked. Or more accurately, something broke. And yet no one in the league said anything. No updates, no confirmation of injury, no acknowledgement of the hit. It's like the whole thing just vanished, wiped from the story like it didn't exist. That silence? That's the part fans can't stomach.
So she's walking towards Caitlin Clark. Marina Mabrey's already knocked Caitlin Clark, and her hand, like, she knocked Caitlin Clark into Tina Charles' fist. Tina Charles did not punch Caitlin Clark.
Because Marina Mabrey didn't just show up late to the party. She came in hot. She escalated. She hit Clark hard enough to knock her down, then walked away like it was just a Tuesday. No fine, no ejection, no media questions, just silence, like nothing happened. And when fans pointed it out, they were gaslit into thinking they were imagining it.
The fact that we know if Caitlin Clark had done this, people aren't joking about it. We know, like, if this happened, like, we know that Tina Charles would never be joking.
So now people are wondering, was this covered up on purpose? Was the injury downplayed to avoid punishing certain players? To protect the league's precious inner circle? Because let's be real, if the roles were reversed, if Caitlin Clark had punched them, you already know she'd be suspended, dragged online, and given her own investigation tab on ESPN, but nope, the WNBA just kept it moving. And that brings us to the league itself. The WNBA has been working overtime trying to rebrand itself. You've seen it, social media beefs, viral shoves, the endless drama is good for ratings takes. They're trying to manufacture heat like it's reality TV, but here's the thing. It's backfiring.
You're on a basketball court in what's supposed to be a professional league. I don't know what you bees are laughing about. I don't.
Fans didn't sign up to watch a soap opera. They showed up to watch basketball, elite talent, fair competition, not this cliquey, chaotic mess where it feels like there are two sets of rules, one for the insiders and one for Caitlin Clark. And the person steering this sinking ship? Kathy Engelbert. Fans have noticed. They're saying it out loud now. This whole thing feels rigged, like a tight little club where certain players get protected and others get punished for breathing wrong. A lot of people are calling it the Yukon Sisterhood, a nickname for the tight-knit crew of former Yukon stars who now seem to run everything behind the scenes. Sue Bird, Tina Charles, the Old Guard, the Clique, and apparently they don't like outsiders.
So, Tina Charles, Sue Bird, this is the punch in the back you forgot to show on your podcast. Right there.
Which brings us to Sue Bird. Oh, Sue. The heartbreak on this one is real, because for years, fans loved Sue Bird, respected her. She was cool, calm, respected by everyone, and generally stayed neutral on messy stuff. And when Caitlin Clark came on the scene, Sue actually said some fair things. She wasn't one of the haters, but then This podcast happened.
She's the managing director, and that's not going to change. I can tell you right now. All right, Caitlyn, don't play in the Olympics if Sue has anything to do with it.
Not only did Sue co-sign the mockery, not only did she let Tina Charles giggle through allegations of punching someone, but she laughed along. She helped shape the tone. She was complicit. And now, she's not just a former player, she's managing director of Team USA Women's Basketball. That's a job with power, with decision-making. That's the person who will help decide if Caitlin Clark makes the Olympic roster or not. So when fans saw Sue on that podcast laughing it up while skipping over real footage of Clark getting decked, it felt personal. They weren't just disappointed, they felt betrayed.
But it's a different sport, so they didn't have the ability to get to her and beat the crap out of her.
A lot of fans are now asking a fair question. Is Sue trying to gatekeep the Olympic roster? Is she using her role to protect her old friends and keep the spotlight on her people? Because it's not hard to connect the dots. One day you're defending Caitlin Clark, the next, you're ignoring a violent hit against her while promoting the very players who committed it. That's not leadership, that's politics, that's strategy. And people see it now. The worst part? This could have been avoided. All of it. The silence, the mockery, the cover-up, the betrayal. If the league had just stepped in. If someone had just told the truth. But they didn't. And now the backlash isn't just coming for Marina Mabrey or Tina Charles. It's coming for Sue Bird. And maybe, just maybe, for the whole system around her.
There are times I feel like, if I'm being real, that her own teammates, a lot of them, don't like her.
Let's talk about something nobody wants to admit, but everyone can see. Is Caitlin Clark actually alone on her own team? Because look, the vibe in Indiana is off, like painfully off. You don't need to be a body language expert to feel the cold air coming off the fever bench when Clark is on the court. You watch the huddles, the celebrations, the interactions, or the lack of them, and it's like she's just there. Not leading, not included, just tolerated.
There's two players that like Caitlin Clark, if you want to know the absolute truth. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull.
And honestly, it's hard not to notice that the only two people who consistently show real energy around her are Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham. Two players. That's it. Everyone else? Either keeping their distance or doing the bare minimum.
Honest opinion, I don't think Natasha Howard likes her. I don't think Sydney Colson likes her. She certainly doesn't respect her.
There have been whispers, actually more like loud conversations, that Natasha Howard doesn't vibe with her either. That multiple Fever players don't pass to her like they should, don't celebrate her big shots, don't pick her up when she hits the floor. We're talking basic teammate stuff and it's just not happening.
Yeah, that was tacky, and Caitlin Clark knew it was tacky.
Clark isn't just dealing with hard fouls on the court, she's dealing with isolation from her own locker room. And that right there, that hurts. Because no matter how tough you are, and Caitlin Clark is tough, nobody wants to feel like the outcast, especially when you're carrying the team's ratings, driving attendance, and doing everything you can to play through injuries and chaos.
If anybody wondered what golf would be like if all the players bashed Tiger Woods versus embracing him and welcoming him with the, quote, high tide raises all boats mentality, the WNBA is showing us.
The league had everything. A generational talent, a national spotlight, a historic wave of fans showing up, buying jerseys, actually watching. The WNBA could have had its Tiger Woods moment. And instead, they gave her a technical foul. You had the golden ticket. You fumbled it. Now Sue Bird and Tina Charles, once the faces of women's basketball, are on the verge of becoming the cautionary tale. People aren't just mad at them. They're done. Over it. Canceled isn't even the right word. It's deeper than that. It's disgust. It's betrayal. Fans are demanding real consequences. Because the clock's ticking. The fans are watching, and Caitlin Clark? She might not say a word, but her silence is louder than all the fake laughs in that podcast room combined. Like this video and hit that subscribe button to get more updates.